I know I've said multiple times that I'm done talking about Twitter, but I just can't. Every time when they decide to make a brand new change, it's always just something extremely bad, or just something so weird, or just changing something that really nobody asks for. Like if we talk about every single decision that Twitter has made, they only have really made two extremely good ones. And that is one, being able to see the views on tweets. This is something that I bring up a lot, but I think is absolutely amazing change. And the second one has to be community notes, where basically if someone tweets something and you're just spreading misinformation, people can go down and basically say what really happens, even though it doesn't matter at all, because people will just read the tweet, and it doesn't matter if you have thousands of community notes saying that, hey, this is not what happened, this is the truth. So much people just pretend it doesn't exist just so they can feel right and just so they can feel like the main character and be like, man, the person in this community notes has absolutely no clue what's going on because what I'm saying is true. And I think it's insane that when those two changes come, a lot of people are acting like this was going to completely be the end of the platform. Like when you were first able to see views on your tweet, you have so much people saying that this is going to be bad because people are just going to tweet random things just so they can go viral, even though people were doing that already before you can see views. And then also when community notes first came out, a lot of people were pissed off about it, probably because there's a lot of accounts that just post misinformation so they can get like a lot of views. And most of the time, if something goes viral and you see a community note under it, most people don't really go and see it anymore. They're just like, oh, it's just completely wrong, and then they just go and move on. So they're probably just super pissed off because of that. But today, we are not talking about a good change. We are talking about an extremely weird one, and that is just to change the name of Twitter from Twitter to X. Yeah, suddenly out of nowhere, Elon Musk has decided that this was going to be a good idea. Now, this man has been addicted to this letter for an extremely long time, because obviously when this change came out, a lot of people decided to go back into the Elon lore, look at every single lore tab they have, and when this man used to work at Cash App, well, it looks like I have to give myself a little community note, because Elon did not work at Cash App, he actually worked at PayPal. I have no clue how I was able to get both of those confused, because they don't really sound similar at all to each other. Just want to make sure you know that. He wanted the company to be called X. A lot of higher-ups thought that, wow, that's an extremely bad idea. We really don't want our company to be called that, because most of the time when people think about the letter X, they think about the spicy side of the internet, not money or finances. But this time, Elon is on top. He's the higher-up, and he's sitting on the golden throne, and he can make whatever decision he wants. So now no one is there to stop him, and he decided to change Twitter to X, which is easily one of the worst names of all time because it's not really that cool. Now, a lot of the things that Elon makes does have X on it, for example, his company SpaceX, but I think that's an extremely cool name. It's something super simple, and the X just makes it sound really nice, and this X alone doesn't really sound that good, and it also completely ruins all the slang that Twitter has built up for literal years. I'm pretty sure everyone knows what a ratio is. We all know that if your tweet, you're saying, hey, look at this tweet. We all know, like, the Twitter users, how people go and make jokes and talk about them. We all know what a retweet is, and we all know what a Twitter video is. These are something that people have literally been saying for years. But now with this brand new thing being X, what are we gonna go and call them now? Hey man, I'm gonna go and send you an X. Hey man, let me go and send you this X video. Like, that just sounds extremely bad, especially the last one. Because if you know what X video is, you really don't want to be known for being that. I'm just gonna keep it like that. Don't search it up. Trust good old Lua on that if you don't know what that is. So this is just an extremely bad change. Now, there's a lot of people going around saying that Elon is doing this as a joke. He's not truly gonna go and change the name for Twitter. He's just probably doing this for marketing, which I really don't know how this is going to make a lot of marketing. Yeah, you're gonna have a lot of people talk about this, but most of the time when people try to do like crazy stunts, they usually do it to try to make money, which I still think is Twitter's biggest issues, because they are basically leaking money. I imagine what it's like being there. It's kind of like the cartoon joke, how when a water pipe is leaking, someone put tapes on it and then just blows up somewhere else. That cycle just continues over and over again until the place is absolutely flooded. That's probably Twitter with how much money they're losing, and they just can't stop. And I don't think suddenly changing their name to X is just randomly going to make them money. I'm pretty sure it's going to make them harder to make more money, because I can't imagine if you're an advertiser or someone who like has a lot of money, you really don't want to give your business to something called X. I just imagine they're like, hey man, I have this extremely cool business, and they're like, oh, so what's the name of it? Yeah, it's called X. It's a social media site. Let me go send you X video so I can tell you what it is. They're probably gonna be like, no, I don't think that's a good idea. I think it's 100% serious because he got back the domain X. Now if you go on that website, it now leads you back to Twitter. And also if you check on Twitter, the bird is basically gone and it has been replaced from the X. He has been put down, completely executed. No one knows who he is anymore, and he has been replaced with a letter. So I think he's 100% serious. There's no joke, and I also think there's no stopping him. So he has really done it. He has finally killed Twitter. A lot of people have been waiting for this day to come, and who knew that the only thing that could take down Twitter was Twitter itself, because now they have decided to go and do an absolutely meaningless rebranding. I really think this decision makes no sense because I feel like one of the hardest things to do when you're starting a company, and look, I know absolutely nothing about business. This is just 100% my guess. Let me just say that out there. But what I think is one of the hardest things about starting a company is basically trying to give yourself an identity. Why should people go to my product and not go to someone else? So I feel like that's one thing that a lot of people have a hard time doing. And that's one reason why a lot of things just don't really succeed. And you really see this everywhere. I mean, one thing that you're seeing a lot of people struggle with is easily gaming. When a brand new game trailer comes out, a lot of people really don't care about it because it's just like, wow, this just looks like bootleg Dark Souls, or wow, this just looks like bootleg this, and they're just not interested in it at all, and it just immediately falls off. I mean, you even see this with apps that try to compete with Twitter. A good example has to be Threads. Everyone was talking about that 2 weeks ago, saying how this was going to be the best decision of all time, and everyone is going to go there and buy it, and then literally like a couple weeks later, it's absolutely dead. No one cares about it. I'm pretty sure we all saw the chart where it was like, this was Threads when it first came out, and this is it now, and it just constantly keeps on going down, and no one has basically logged in. We just saw it as just like a worse version of Twitter. I haven't gone and downloaded Threads because absolutely no one is using it at all. And apparently it's just filled to the brim with just a bunch of corporate companies trying to be relatable, which is something that I absolutely hate. Twitter is still filled to the brim with that, where like Microsoft tries to make a funny meme. Do you just absolutely hate it when people type in all caps? That's so funny. Knee slapper. Am I right, boys? Because I know what the funny memes are. Apparently that's what Threads is filled with, and just absolutely no one cares anymore because they actually just don't have a user base. I'm pretty sure people just made their account and didn't even bother like threading on it or whatever their brand new tweets are called. But it wasn't able to carve out its own identity, and it failed immediately. Twitter has basically already done that for you. Twitter has already made its own identity for like years, so basically one of the hardest part of starting a company, Elon basically just didn't even need to do anymore. It was already done for him, but now he has decided to like be like, nope, I'm completely gonna go and tear it down. I also think this is ironic because this is exactly the same thing that everyone's second favorite billionaire has done, Mark Zuckerberg, where he's decided to change Facebook into Meta as this big rebrand with this brand new metaverse, and that's also completely fell on their face, and the metaverse fell off so hard, absolutely no one knows what it is anymore, and no one basically goes and talk about it, and now Elon is doing the same thing, and this is probably not going to work. I'm pretty sure people are still gonna call Twitter until the end of time. They're not suddenly going to be like, hey man, follow me on X, or look at this brand new X that I got. This is probably not going to work. And I also wouldn't be surprised if later down the line, Elon decides to completely reverse this decision and suddenly go back to Twitter, because we have seen multiple times that although he likes to act extremely hard when he makes a brand new change, it's pretty easy to convince him out of it. All you need to do is go on Twitter and basically just laugh at him and make fun of him and say your idea is dumb. And then he's like, yeah, I did a big cringe. I'm sorry. Let me just go and reverse everything. This has happened so much times. I have literally talked about this happening a lot. So I wouldn't be surprised if the same thing happens with Twitter, or should I say X. Anyway, this is just something that I just have to talk about. My name is Lua. This is something that I wanted to talk about. You have a good day or night. See you.